Well, it's great to see you guys. And I'm going to turn off transcription real quick. Hey, when transcriptions, there we go. Stop transcription. So just want to welcome everyone. I'm Susan Hildebrand. You've probably got an email from me several times. I work strategically with the department. And I also help these wonderful alumni that you're going to meet and talk with tonight. So what I'd love to do is, Tyler, I'd love to just turn the session over to you and maybe have you introduce yourself, and maybe the ambassadors all introduce themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice to meet everybody on here tonight. For those who don't know me, my name is Tyler Wood. I am not only the president of the UofL Alumni Group, Ambassador Group, I'm also one of the advisory board members on our Healthcare Leadership Program board as advisory board as well. I graduated from the UofL program in 2020. I had to think about that for a second. And I currently am a international senior analyst, treasury analyst for Tempur-Pedic. And then I will turn it over. I'm gonna pick David because he's the first one I see out of the corner of my eye.
Hey, thank you, Tyler. Hi, everybody. David Murphy. I am a graduate of the OLL program in December of last year, so 2022. So I'm a fresh grad, I guess. Although, I believe it was Lori that mentioned earlier that she wasn't a great student, maybe back then. That's what I tell people is like, I went back and I'm a much better student now than when I was student age, what they consider student age, right? I actually enjoyed, I heard Adam mention the classes that he had just got finished taking. And so I enjoyed those a lot, actually, because that really firmed up a lot of things that I thought I knew, that it filled in some gaps of things I've learned throughout my lifetime. And so I thoroughly enjoyed my experience at the University of Louisville throughout this entire journey. It's been a journey, but I work for Humana. I've been at Humana for 20 years. I celebrated 20 years in March. I'm an associate director there, and right now what we're doing is trying to deal with budgets and financing the different departments in the IT areas. So it's pretty exciting stuff. But anyway, so I'm happy to be here. I'm thrilled that I was invited to be an ambassador. I'm all for education and learning, and discovering new things. So welcome everybody. I took this class back in 2013, so it's been a while, but I was going back through, I found all of my documents. I have everything handy. So, I'm happy to help any way I can. So please reach out. And then I'll switch over to Erin. You popped up into my screen first. So.
Hey, everybody. I'm Erin Boffman. I graduated in December of 21 from the healthcare leadership track. I have worked with University of Louisville in some capacity for 7 years now. Right now I'm serving in HIV/AIDS medical case management, which I love. I'm also a master's candidate with the health administration program over at the School of Public Health. And I definitely love being an ambassador because I love that this program taught me how to enjoy learning. And it's something that I'm now addicted to, and it's something that I think everyone should have access to. And I think this program makes that possible. I was not a good student. I was not in the mindset of wanting to learn back when I was 17 and 18. And I like to call myself a success story. I went from barely graduating high school to getting into a master's program on the first try. So I'm very, very happy with the progress that I've made, but none of it's possible without we're here and happy to help, and I will pass it on to Zach.
Hey everyone, my name is Zach Rittenhouse. I graduated from the OLL program in December of last year. I currently work at a tech company called Braze, and just received my second promotion there. I will now be our manager of learning operations. So I'm going to be doing a lot of data analytics, data visualization, change management all around learning data. Prior to that, I was a senior learning designer. So I've been in L&D pretty much my entire career. This program really helped launch and kickstart my career in a way that I couldn't have done without it. Prior to that, I was just relying on all of my work experience, which got me pretty far, But since I completed this program, I've been able to really launch into and do some really cool things in the field of learning and development. So I'm super excited to be here with y'all and help however I can. I think that's
Brittany.
everybody.
Brittany.
Brittany.
Yeah, I can go. Hey, everyone. I'm Brittany Geisenberg. I graduated from the OLL track 2020, I think. Is it bad that I'm not 100% sure? Whatever the first graduation that was canceled, that one was me. But I currently work for a company called Qualtrics, which is a software company out based in Utah. So we are an experience management company. We have software that does research and survey, as well as builds lots of dashboards for insights. So anything you can imagine that you would want to manage an experience for, that's what we do. When I was in the program, though, my background was in financial services. So anybody who's in that realm, I can talk to you about how I pulled together all my old trainings for my plaid. But similar story, I am one who was going to drop out of this class in particular. I freaked out a little bit. It was just a lot to take on. And I had a wonderful instructor who kind of came alongside me and said, no, you're good. Like, you've got a good start. Why don't you stick with it? And I'm so thankful that she did. Similar to Zach, the trajectory of my career has been immensely improved because of my time at the University of Louisville. And I would not have gotten this role at Qualtrics had I not been there. What did I miss? Oh, what I do. I'm a senior instructional designer. So I do all of the learning strategies for our partner ecosystem at Qualtrics. So we use partners around the world to expand and scale our business. And I write the strategies for how to bring them up to speed on our platform. Okay, am I last?
I think we're good. I know, Tyler, we have some new CardinOLL Ambassadors, but I'm not sure if they're on the call tonight. And I think Jessica and Tameka, Lori and Adam, I think you guys are currently in the program, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic. Do you guys want to share a little bit about your backgrounds, or would you rather just jump in and start asking some questions? If you have a preference, just let me know.
I would just like to listen in for now.
Okay.
So I can share. Sorry, Tamika, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'll go ahead. So it sounds like a popular story, was not a great student when I was 19 years old. Tried college, wasn't in the frame of mind to complete that. So I somehow found that I really enjoyed photography, which was not something I had much experience with growing up. Freelanced for a few years, and then have been on staff in the athletic department here at UofL. I just completed, I guess July will be my 6th anniversary. So I've been a staff photographer with the athletic department for 6 years, and finding that I'd like to make more money and do more things than I'm currently doing. And so I realized that I've a little bit pigeonholed myself by being very well versed in a very specific field. And photography is not a field where, unless you're a very good businessman or just have an abundance of clients, it's hard to do much there without being a freelancer, I guess. And even in the freelance world, you have to be a freelancer. And so I think the reason I'm in this program is because I want to make a higher salary than I currently do and want to find a path forward for that, and willing to go outside of photography. It's what I know, but I think that my skills are better. I think my skill set is more focused towards, I really find a lot of joy, and I think I'm pretty decent at managing. I manage 5 student interns as well as 1 staff member currently. And both how I feel and the feedback that I've been given by the people I work with is that that's a strength I have. And so I see myself in this program as a way to not just get a degree, but to also maybe to get some better skills in management and find other career opportunities. So I guess all that is to say, my hope in this program is obviously to get a degree, but also to find more career opportunities. And I don't quite know what that looks like yet, but I'm hoping over the next year and a half, 2 years, or whatever it is for me to complete the program, that's what I find.
Fantastic. Thanks, Adam. We can jump in with questions if you'd like. We've got experts on the call. Jessica, Tamika, Adam, Lori, I bet you're in your first week of class. Is that right? And I think alumni would love to just help in any way they can and support you. So if you'd like to start off with just a general question.
So I would like to know where are the alumni? Where did you find like your biggest struggle within this class? Was it just like the gathering of the information? Was it just overwhelming in general compared to some of the other courses?
So for me, I took this class my third semester in the in the program, so I already thought I had an idea of how things were going to roll. That was not the case because this class is completely different than any other one that you're going to take. For me, it was just how to best compile everything so that I could maximize the amount of credit that I was going to get. I think I initially expected to only request like 34 credit hours. I ended up getting 42, 46. So like I almost maxed out the amount of credits that I could get. So, which was a very like nice surprise. Like I'm glad I put in all of this work and compiled everything so that I could maximize the credits. And the LinkedIn Learning piece was a huge thing for me. I think when I was talking to Roger, when I was going through it, he had said, we'd never had anybody use this before. Let's try it and see. So the U of L has as students at U of L, you have access to LinkedIn Learning. So like if you're struggling to like find credits or figure out how to like maximize things, spend some time, go through these LinkedIn Learning paths, and that'll really help.
Thank you.
I had trouble mostly in the class. had gathered everything ahead of time. I knew it was coming, but trying to write out why I deserved credit for every continuing education course. And in healthcare, there's a lot that's repetitive. So like you're doing infection control every single year. You're doing your anesthesia review every single year. You're doing, CPR, all those things. So trying to understand why, like I was doing all these different continuing education things and how they were going to be applied towards credit. I could get all the stuff together. It was me handing them 15 certificates and them saying, okay, now you got to write me 15 pages about it, that I was like, like I couldn't put it into words. Even with resumes, you're taught short and sweet, short and sweet, short and sweet. Don't write your whole life story on a resume. But with this class, you kind of do have to write that whole life story out a little bit just to make sure that they're understanding why you deserve credit for those things. So for me, it was just articulating why I should get credit for, doing this LGBTQIA affirming healthcare series and why I should get credit for these different things. But yeah, like Zach said with the LinkedIn Learning, I know I took this in 2020 in the fall. So I had a whole summer of pandemic where all of our CE stuff became free. College of Healthcare Executives, everybody just made everything free. So I took as many things as I could and then just tried to put them together and figure it out. And I think in the end, I got 40 credit hours of the 48. And then I was actually able to go ahead and start grad school. And my first 8 credits of grad school worked towards a bachelor's too. So I got to use that for both.
Nice. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think, let's go ahead.
I have a question about so for your plan and how do you obtain the credits as far as your job history, your do you just get it for trainings or do you also get it for job history?
So yeah, I can. So you'll be walked through how to use ONET, and I do believe that is how they will kind of correlate years and time spent in a role to the credits that you will receive. I think your ONET walkthrough happens week 2, week 3. If I'm looking at my syllabus, at my old syllabus, I had Roger during a summer 10 week, so it was. But you'll spend a lot of time on that ONET website and learn how to correlate time spent in role to credit earned. I don't know if that fully answers it.
If you answer my question, thank you.
You're welcome.
I would also say don't limit to yourself to those 2 options that you just mentioned. Kind of like they were talking about on the LinkedIn Learning. It may be something that has never consistently been used before. You can also, and again, I'm going off of what I do know. So again, if I've not named something, that doesn't mean that you can't necessarily use it. But you can use and look at any type of like licensure. So if you're in the healthcare field and maybe you're a CNA or a CMA, or if you have any type of financial services licensure, like any type of insurance lines, anything like that, you should be able to use that too, because there's a lot of training and CEUs that go into that can make up for some hours. So again, if it's something that you've not consistently heard being used, don't count it out yet. I would say try anything and everything you can to get as many hours as you can.
Yeah, I think in that same vein, so I came from financial services, and I didn't have specific licenses, but we did have like annual compliance training for anti-money laundering. All of these trainings that you sit through and you're like, oh my gosh, all of that counts. And something that I tended to forget was like my onboarding experiences. So it was really helpful for me to interview like old managers or old teammates and kind of work back and forth and see what we could remember, especially on those jobs that were way back, because those hours of training that you spend onboarding also count as training hours. So kind of thinking outside the box of not just certifications or licenses. If you didn't get anything at the end, that doesn't mean that those training hours don't count. So it could be really helpful to kind of converse with old colleagues or managers, and think about all those horrible trainings you sit through sometimes. Just kidding. I work in L&D. They're not horrible, but some of them are fun.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I actually used I come from the financial industries, Brittany, so I used my AML training. You're always, if you're going to, especially if you work for a public company, you're going to have yearly code of conduct and fraud training, ethics, different things like that you may be able to squeeze an hour or a credit out of. So again, I wouldn't put anything outside of the parameters quite yet.
Even with University of Louisville, the cultural competency training that we do every year, I believe that counted for a credit for me as well. Because cultural competency is obviously something that's valued in education anyway, but since we're doing that in the workforce, and the courses that you take are going to give you a little bit deeper understanding of that, but that baseline still gives you some credit too.
I would say don't tell yourself no. So if you're curious, your instructor will help you. Like there's no right or wrong. Get with your instructor about, hey, can I use this, or is there a way I could use this? They're really, really helpful at helping you get a little bit creative, because sometimes thinking of all of that on your own, even with your resume, is hard to come up with. So if you have something and you're not sure, it's worth asking for sure.
I know someone said something about certificates. So what if you don't have the certificate? Do you have to obtain that from someone and for it to be accountable?
So in one of my healthcare roles, we use a system called Relias, and I was able to actually reach out to the Relias company, and they gave me a whole like course transcript that had like time spent. So like if you can't, like you don't have the actual certificate, either the system company or your HR or L&D person at a current or former role should be able to get you a course transcript with time spent. And there's multiple ways that that can look and feel, but that is how I was able to get a couple hours without having the actual certificates.
I was able to get some from like my employee file too, because like he said, where you apply for jobs with that, I was able to pull some from like an old employee file from when I was doing an externship, like back in the day.
So I guess if with my current position right now, I'm actually a practice manager, but I've held probably 6 different positions. Actually started out as a front desk person greeting patients when they came in the door. And so over the last 25 years, I've worked through different steps and different roles. So I don't necessarily have any formal training in any of those. So I would basically just want to kind of go through and outline what each of those roles required and what my responsibilities were and that type of thing. Is that kind of what my approach to all that needs to be?
That, and I would definitely, coming from some of that same background, I highlighted the OSHA trainings, the bloodborne pathogen stuff that you had to have even working front desk, all of your like Microsoft Office and Excel experience that you had to have working front desk, and then all of your HIPAA compliance stuff too, because those are still trainings that you do even as part of that annual stuff. And like Brittany said, you can throw it all on paper. I kept a notepad and was writing down every time something popped into my head of, oh yeah, we did do this training. I was talking to all my coworkers, friends, colleagues, just trying to figure out what all have we done. And I was just jotting down random notes of everything. I think at one point I talked about measuring and like laying down floors in my home that I purchased. Like, I think I literally went so far beyond, and then they kind of helped me narrow it back down to get that credit. But all of that kind of makes you who you are in your work experience. Like, all of that gives you all the knowledge that you have. So they'd rather have everything like word vomit and try to clear it back up than you just give little bits of information.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm going to kind of struggle, is because when you're going through different things, and if you're going to make presentations, they always tell you to keep things concise and that kind of. So now I'm trying to make myself think to go the other way. So that's going to be fun.
One thing
It
I
takes
recommend,
a minute.
like look up. I would probably look up some like job descriptions, right? Like of job postings or whatever, and see what requirements they might have for jobs, and that way that can help maybe trigger things that like, yes, I've done that. Yes, it's that helped me to a degree, right? Because I've been in the workforce for quite some time, and so some things I didn't remember that I knew. It's just something you do second nature. So that's one thing that helped me, but trigger reminders was looking up job descriptions, basically. And so that's kind of what ONET will help you do too, though, once you get into that.
One question I had was, I am, I guess there's 7 tracks or something like that within the OLL program. As I currently sit here, I don't really know which one I plan to actually go into. Is there any amount of, as part of the program, I guess, when do you have to make the decision on which track you're in? Like, is there 3 or 4 classes you take before you start taking ones that are specifically in a track, or are there 10 classes, that kind of question? But also, kind of like what I was referencing earlier, is there any amount of, for lack of a better word, career counseling or things like that that kind of help you, that where the people within the program can kind of help, your experience kind of lends towards this kind of career, and this is the specific track that would also lend to that kind of career, or anything like that? I don't know if that question makes sense. I can clear that up if that'd be helpful, but.
It makes sense, and I'll jump in really quick and then let the alumni also jump in. Adam, we have 9 tracks, of which 2 might not be applicable for you, right? So career and technical education is strictly designed for vocational teachers in the high school setting. So they're teaching carpentry, electrical, plumbing, automotive, right? And you are not a teacher. So we eliminate that track. We will eliminate the healthcare leadership track because you have to have a minimum of 1 year experience just in the field. So now we've made some exceptions in the past. You know, if it's absolutely the field you want to move into, we will work with you, right? You just need to let us know, though. The other 7 tracks that remain, one is our flagship. It was the flagship track that we launched this degree program with 48 years ago. It's now formally called Leadership, Training, and Organizational Development. It is broad. Everything you learn is transferable regardless of industry. Okay, period. You're going to learn to lead others. You're going to learn to train. How do I train my peer, my colleague, right? Then you're also going to learn about organizational development in terms of needs assessment, organizational change, right? And how to influence, right? That change within the organization. That's the flagship track. It's more general and not as specific per se. The other tracks are much more specific, right? So we have counseling and human relations. That's definitely, if you have a passion for counseling, you're thinking you might want to become an addiction counselor. You might want to become a career counselor, right? Counseling and human relations is a wonderful opportunity. Some of our students are going into our master's, of clinical counseling, right? So they definitely have a passion for that field. We have another track. It's digital leadership information technology. That one's wonderful if you're an IT person. If you love technology, right, and you really want to work for industries that are more technical in nature, the first 2, there's 2 classes in there. I think it's, Lead 256, Lead 257. And you're literally going to gain up to 20 technical badges, right? Alongside all these other courses you're going to be required to take. So you are upping your game when it comes to technical proficiencies, whether it's Google Analytics, whether it's IBM, whether it's Power BI, whatever it is, you're going to be learning it, right? But it's all about leading teams as well, right? Leading IT teams. So that's the digital IT track, right? We also have the diversity, inclusion, community engagement, and equity track. If you are passionate about that field, you're thinking, I really want to make a difference for any organization in that capacity, you definitely need to be doing that track, right? We've got the human resource development track. Absolutely phenomenal field if you want to work in the field of HR. At the end of that track, when you finish the degree, you're ready to sit for the PHR, which is a professional certification, right? Professional association. And that will open multiple doors. We have another track that's project management in the modern workforce. Obviously, employers love anyone that's got project management experience. And on top of that, they pay you. They pay you really well when you walk in and you have a PMP license. So if you're thinking you would like to consider that project management track, that's what you're going to learn about. And when you finish the degree, you'll be eligible to sit for the certified associate in project management, which is the first certification you receive on your way to the PMP license. Okay. I think I'm missing a couple, you guys. Healthcare leadership is another track, but we talked about that. What else am I thinking missing, guys? I should know these by heart. So if it helps, I'm a career strategist as well, right? And I want to make sure that we put you, that you're in the track that's going to be most fulfilling for you long term, not short term. You're going to get out in 12 classes. It's going to fly. I mean, and they'll tell you it's going to fly. But we want to make sure you graduate with a degree where you can apply those skills quickly, right? And then you can grow. So I've helped a lot of our alumni, actually help a lot of our current students. So Adam, you and I can have a sidebar conversation. All of these alumni, these wonderful CardinOLL ambassadors, are here also to share, connect, and network with you. So that's why I love this group of alumni that volunteer their time, they volunteer their talents, their energy, and they're available.
Thank you for all that. That was a very detailed answer. I appreciate that.
Oh, good, good, thanks. Aaron, yeah, Aaron's got in the chat. Hopefully for those that are on, I know we've got someone on the phone, but in the chat, Aaron mentioned also, as she went through the healthcare leadership, Lori, she went through the healthcare leadership program. Did you say you did the HR certificate as well, Aaron?
I did the undergraduate certificate in HR leadership and healthcare leadership. I really thought I wanted to go into HR. It taught me that that is not where I belong. So better to learn that way and get than to get out into the workforce. But I did learn that I do not belong in HR, but I do love project management. So I was able to kind of touch on a little bit of those and direct my graduate school more towards that than the HR track. But yes, it was also, they're kind of built into your courses. So I only had to take one extra class to get that certificate, and I needed credits anyway. So it kind of balanced out for me to get that, and it looks good on my resume as well.
And Adam, I may not have answered your question.
I'm sorry?
Because I definitely don't want HR to be my focus.
Me either.
Thank goodness we have a few that love it, so we're lucky. Adam, I may not have gone full circle. I thought about you had like a two-part question. You need to work with your academic advisor. So you should have been assigned an academic advisor, and it should more than likely be Andrew Hovkamp. Have you met with Andrew yet?
Yeah, so I met with Andrew shortly before signing up for this particular class.
Okay.
I think if I go through ULink, or I think yes, ULink, it says I technically don't have an assigned advisor, but I have met with Andrew once and emailed back and forth when I applied for, I guess, entry into the program. So I have met with him and likely will be meeting with him again at some point soon. So.
Well, he's going to direct you into making sure you select that major before you go too far, right? And in most of the tracks, everyone's got to complete at least 6 of the exact same courses, right? So you've got a little bit of time, right? But I wouldn't wait too long. Yeah.
I think that sounds like what he told me, and I just couldn't remember that. I am also, I mean, being that I work, I'm only, for the most part, just doing the 2 classes a semester that I get for free as an employee of the university. Maybe getting that up to 3, just so I can kind of get out a little bit quicker. So, and this is just, this semester, I'm only taking this course. So obviously it sounds like there's 5 others, which is 2 semesters for me before I would need to nail that down. So hopefully the next 2 semesters can give me a little bit more direction, and I can maybe meet with you on the side, Susan, or something like that too. So that'd be great. And
I want to encourage everyone that's on the call today, take advantage of scholarships. Valissa White's not on our call tonight. She's actually in class. She's another alumni. And I worked with her right off the bat. She started applying for scholarships, not thinking she would ever get any. And she ended up receiving, I don't know, 5 or 8 scholarships. So I want to encourage all of you, because I'm an adult and I know that financially it can be draining and stressful to worry about your tuition. So if I haven't sent you the scholarship list that I keep, please email me tonight or tomorrow if you would like it, and I'll make sure that you have, it's 4 pages of scholarships that I want to encourage you to apply for. A lot of them are external, right? Such as the Community Foundation of Louisville. Wonderful organization, right? They definitely award scholarships, right? And then you have internal scholarships per se at the University of Louisville. Then we have other external scholarships. There's a specific scholarship for project management students. People, adults, we just don't know about it. So don't I would love to have you keep your financials worries at bay as far as you can, and utilize employers, obviously, but also make sure to utilize those scholarships. There's a question, Jessica. Let me just send you the document. Yeah, it's such it's really a challenge out there to research scholarships, because you actually don't know which are fraudulent and which are not, right? So let me
Yes.
just send you the list, right?
Thank you.
And then look at the list first. And also at the University of Louisville now, they have put in an automatic scholarship
Universe.
partner. Thank you. Yeah. So Erin, are you well versed in that?
I've
New
been
partnership?
using it. So
Okay.
I got an email. It was actually through UofL. I can see if I can find it. But it just said like Scholarship Universe, you may qualify for these, which I thought was spam. But I logged to it and it said, UofL is a partner and they have hundreds and hundreds of scholarships. And then basically you fill out, like I filled out, I'm a grad student, I'm finishing this year, I'm this old, this is my GPA, and it tells you which ones you qualify for. Now there are specific ones that like you don't. So I'm like, oh, I'm a healthcare administration student doing this, that, and the other. There are some that they're like, you qualify for this because you're a woman, or you qualify for this because have you ever been adopted? Did you ever serve in the military? I qualified for one just because I had a cancer diagnosis back in the day. Like there's just different things that are so totally random that
Yes.
people like, because honestly, like if I were to die and pass away, I could leave a scholarship that says, I'm going to give this to anybody who lives alone with their cat. And people can do that. Like you can have the most random scholarships ever. But it really kind of filters them all into one place and tells you which ones you qualify for. And then like some of them are no essay, some of them do require an essay, but it does make it a lot easier. You just upload your transcripts to one place and it helps a lot. But yeah, it's called Scholarship Universe.
And Erin, again, that's automatic through the University of Louisville, right?
Mhm.
And that's a new partnership for us.
Yeah, it just
And for
started
those
like
on the-
this year.
Yeah, I was saying for all those on the call, employees and alumni, it just started, I think, as an employee, we just got notified about it. So yeah.
Looking to see if I have anything.
I will say that one thing that Susan mentioned earlier was connecting with your advisor. My advisor, actually, she's no longer with the university, but she saved my college career because I thought I had 2 classes to go, but I actually had 5. And that was it. I had enough. And so he literally talked me off the ledge. And so, so advisor, do you remember Chelsea? I don't know if anybody here knows Chelsea. She was amazing. She was an amazing counselor. And, I gave her a token whenever I graduated as a first gen college student or whatever. They gave us these tokens to give out to people that, and so since I'm a first gen student, I gave her one of my tokens because she saved my college career, literally. So I do highly recommend connecting with your advisor if you haven't been able to do that. Good folks.
I think I found it, Susan.
Okay. And I know we have maybe a student on the using your phone. So we're taping this, recording this rather. So I'll make sure to get this recording out to everybody within 24 hours.
See if I can find it.
And while Erin's checking that, I know you guys are in your first week. So we you know, as an alumni group and as a staff member that supports this degree program, I really, we wanted to offer this session, the alumni wanted to offer this session just to help support you and keep your stress levels down. They expressed a lot of stress that this class created. So this is one of the reasons we're offering this session, is just to say, hey, what can we do to help? We've been there, we've been in your shoes, and we're offering this one support session, and we'd love your feedback as well. So after tonight, if you felt the session's been helpful, or if you need a second session, you know, we can host one, or you can always feel free to reach out to any of the alumni that's on the call tonight. So you guys are welcome. Lori, Tamika, Jessica, anyone that's on the call, Adam, you can reach out to David. You can call Zach. You can reach out to Brittany and Tyler. I mean, Aaron, you guys can directly reach them. I created a page for our CardinOLL Ambassadors. I'm going to put the link in the chat, just so that you say, okay, I know where to find these folks easily. And I actually also have their email at my fingertips. So let me pull that up for you really quickly. Okay.
I completed it in a fall course, Tamika. It was the fall, so like 2020 hit that, like COVID hit that March, 2020 hit, and then I think it was that August of 2020 that I started this course. But I did put a link in the chat for the Scholarship Universe link. I did find it.
Oh, perfect. Can you put the link in the chat, Aaron?
I did.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Sorry. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tyler was fall. Okay. Let's see what else. So I've got the link in also for the CardinOLL Ambassadors. So when you go to that page, you just click on the tab that says Chat with Alum. And then you'll see all of their pictures, their lovely pictures, the quotes. Some of them gave me quotes, most of them. And then you also have their external email. And Tyler, maybe all the ambassadors too, can you all triple check your email is still good? And if you all want me to change your emails at all, please let me know and I can get that done overnight or within the next 24 hours.
And I know Susan talked about this, and but I really want to stress, don't navigate through this program feeling like you're doing it completely by yourself. And I mean that. I think all of us have been to the point to where it's either been so frustrating or so stressful where you either want to quit, or you're having second thoughts. I think it's completely normal to get to that point sometimes. However, again, you've got a lot of support staff and peers who have been in that same situation. And again, we created the ambassador program itself, so that way all of us, again, we're one body who's achieved or are achieving the same goal, and we want to see you all do the exact same thing. And again, we want to help strengthen and extend everyone's career, not just help you get to the degree point. It's a, you know, I like to think is a lifelong membership. So again, you know, if you're getting to the point where you're on the ledge, you need somebody to just tell you everything's going to be okay, or if you need some encouragement, Again, I've done that for a couple students. One, some Susan have sent my way, one that I've just kind of reached out to myself. You're not doing this alone, and you will make it to the finish line.
Are all of you, for the students, do you all know exactly how many credit hours you need to be requesting for this class? You can just say yes or type it in the no. Okay.
Yes, I'm actually calling in, but I do know my hours.
Perfect. Okay, wonderful. Terrific. Okay, good.
There are a lot. It's making me really nervous. So.
Oh. Well,
Yeah.
just if anything, remember this, and it might help, and it might give you some comfort. 1 year of work experience usually is equivalent to 2 credit hours. Okay. 1 year.
Okay.
And all this class, really logistically and strategically, we're trying to help eliminate additional classes because we know you know a lot and you've learned a lot while you've been in the workforce. The tough part, I think, and Brittany might help me because I know Brittany was ready to stop and just say, no, I'm not doing this. The hard part is reflecting and going, oh yeah, I did do this. And that's how I learned it. It's remembering what you've done. So before the class ever starts, I always tell anyone, any student I talk to, I'm like, go look at your resume, make sure it's updated, and start thinking about every job you've ever held. What job did you hold and what were your tasks, right? And then how did you learn what you learned? Did you do it through on-the-job training? You did it that way? Perfect. You just need to remind yourself, write about what you learned, right? Document it to the best of your ability. The faculty are going to give you the tools you need to use, right? But it's just about reflection. A lot of it is going back in time and going, oh my God, I did all that. And by the time you finished, I think it was Erin, your paper was 55 pages long. Something, I forgot what it was. I was like, because she figured out she's done that much learning outside of a formal college classroom. So all of you literally have years. You just don't realize it. And the goal of that class is for you to write about what you've learned and try to document and validate to the best of your ability. And ask questions, and do not hesitate in calling your instructor. And if they don't answer, you better let me know because we're going to have a conversation. But you've got alumni too that have been in your shoes. And
But they
Adam,
will. The instructors are great and they will answer you, and they love it when you ask questions.
Yeah.
I think I don't remember what I said in the beginning, but as we're sitting here, this class is coming back but more and more to me. So I think I actually withdrew without talking to my instructor because I had a little panic. And she reached out to me proactively and said, hey, I think I can get you back in. Do you want me to do that? Here's why I think you should. So she was very much an advocate. And like I said, completely changed my career. I think for this class especially, give your brain some breaks, like dump what you can, step away, come back and read what you wrote, and more will come, and then step away and read it again, and more will come. It's just a very iterative building process for this class because it seems overwhelming up front, but you're really surprised as an adult learner how much you retain from all of your work and life experiences. And I think especially some of the jobs that you don't think of. Like I did my nanny job when I was 19. I learned a ton being a nanny, like a ton of experience. And ONET really helped me fill that in. So don't give up and give yourself time to kind of step away and come back to it because you'll be surprised how much comes back if you give your brain a little break.
While we're on the subject of giving some tips, I would say one thing is going to be time management and really structuring I use the term structure your day a lot in the professional world, but really same thing applies here. Again, it looks like a lot up front, and it is going to be a lot up front. I want to set realistic expectations. It is a lot of work, but at the same time, you're putting these extra work in for a semester to get how many credit hours do you need? I mean 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, and think of how much money you're saving. Just the time and the money, those were the biggest pieces for me. If I can crunch it out for 4 or 5 months and essentially, 15, $20,000 I don't have to pay, that's a pretty good trade-off. But again, you definitely work for it. It's going to make you think a lot. It's going to make you dive into deeper parts of your professional and personal career and life, just in terms of what you've learned and what you've done that you may or may not think that you were capable of, but you are. Uh, and again, you're going to want to set aside time to strategic now. And I don't think that you're going to wait until the last minute to get everything done. But I would say do your best to put together a plan, including those breaks where you can give yourself some time to rest, time to step away, recharge, gather your thoughts, and come back to it. Yeah, Adam, I see you have a question.
We just did, at least in the class I'm in, we just did I think we read the first 4 chapters of, I guess, the book associated with this class. And one thing that I made a note of in my brain when I was reading it was how they gave lots of examples of people who had been through the program before and how they realized that their time as a preacher kind of directly correlated with like a class in spiritual growth or something like that.
Yes.
There were several examples like that. And so I think the question I had was, when we're applying for credits, essentially, does our experience need to line up directly with a photography 101, or does it line up with, does that make sense? Is it a direct correlation to a class that we're checking off a list, or is it more generalized than that?
I would say it's more generalized, because right now you're not doing anything but just showing what you're worth. And you've got a breadth of experience that doesn't necessarily correlate to one thing, which is the beauty of this program. It's not telling you you've got to know exactly what you want to do, and only everything that you've done in that one particular those parameters are going to count. That's not fair, and then the course shouldn't have even exist. So it's very general. Anything and everything that you can think of. Again, you've just got to be able to tell your story and really hype yourself up on that and why you deserve the credit for what you've done.
And Adam, what you were saying earlier, how you manage student interns and a staff member, I would even break that into 2 separate things. I would even break that down as like, this is me managing staff. These are the roles I do here. And then this is how I work with the interns and how I teach them and what I've learned. I would even break that into 2 separate roles.
Absolutely.
When you're doing that course.
Perfect. Thank you all. Yeah, I assumed. I didn't assume. That's why I asked the question. But it seemed odd if I had to directly correlate my experience with specific classes.
No.
But it's good to know that it's more general than that and things like that. So, like I said, I really appreciate this meeting, guys. It's been super helpful for me.
And just reach out with any questions. Seriously, like you can even send, if you email all of us your resume, we'll even help. Like, I mean, we can help. It's stressful. We can help.
Thank you
I
all.
would also,
It's really interesting. I enjoy this group. Thank you all.
I'd also encourage each of you who have not, and I think Jessica, you actually are, but take a look at joining the ambassador group. We've opened it up now to where it's not just alum, but we've opened it up to current students. And I think it'd be a great way for you all to stay connected with not only all of us, but a lot of other ambassadors that aren't on this call tonight, who, again, it's great for you for networking perspective, because you've got a lot of people, not only on this call, but everybody in the group itself that have a multitude and versatile array of experience. So that's one thing. The other thing is, I would also really encourage you, again, to network and just stay connected with everybody on LinkedIn as well. And Susan, you can give your LinkedIn spiel, whether you want to do it tonight or another time, but it's it's very, very important, especially if you're looking for a career change. And I don't, you probably do know this, but again, just how important it is to really keep that up to date and to the T, which again, we can help on that if you're not very familiar with it.
And that helps with your LinkedIn learning stuff too. You can see what courses other people are taking and take them also, different career paths. That's how I didn't get into LinkedIn learning till I got into LinkedIn. And then it all kind of fell into places there.
And then you can see that Erin's completing a certification every other week on LinkedIn.
Yes.
I'm trying my best.
And Zach's right behind her.
Yeah,
I think both
that's
of
true.
them
That's
were
also true.
knocking them out.
Zach's in a more organized manner than I am. Follow Zach if you're looking for But yeah, just reach out with any questions. We are happy to help.
And before we close, everyone on the call tonight, we're all in various locations. So I just want to make sure you guys all know, the students especially. Brittany, you're in Texas, I believe. Zach, I can't remember what state you're in.
I am now in Minnesota.
You're in Minnesota, okay. And of course, I'm in Kentucky. I'm in Louisville. I think Erin, you're Louisville. David, you're Louisville. Tyler, you're Lexington, Kentucky.
Georgetown.
And then Lori, I can't remember where you're from. I'm sorry, or where you reside.
I'm actually in Shelbyville, Kentucky.
Shelbyville, okay. Adam, I'm going to assume you're in Louisville with your job.
I am indeed, yes.
Okay, and then Tamika, Jessica, where are you guys at?
I'm here locally.
Local, okay.
Yep.
Wonderful. So we may have some local, but we are definitely a national program. So if you join us more, if you want to join the CardinOLL Ambassadors group, just let Tyler know. Tyler, can you type your email in the chat if you don't mind? Velissa's not here tonight, or else I'd say, hey, just ping Velissa. And you can do this next month. You can do this in the spring of next year, whenever you feel comfortable, if you want to stay connected with us in that capacity. All right, guys, we're 1 minute to 8 o'clock. We wanted to, I'll wrap this up. Tyler, any closing words? Any of the alumni, the ambassadors want to give us closing words?
No, I just want to thank you guys for joining. Again, I hope this has been extremely helpful. Again, we pride ourselves as an ambassador family, not just to be your peers in the interim. In the short term, we're here for long-term growth. And I would trust each individual in the ambassador program to lead you in the right direction, or at least get you in the right direction of where you need to go if they can't help you themselves. Please don't hesitate. I know we've stressed upon it, but again, we're all very dedicated to helping in your personal and professional growth. So please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us, and we'll do our absolute best to help you ourselves, or again, point you in the right direction of where you need to be.
Thank you all. Really appreciate you.
Hey, everybody have a wonderful evening and stay in touch. We want to hear how you're doing. All right, thanks.
Thanks all. Good to see you.